At the beginning of the movie, a hooded man races through the streets of the city. Meanwhile, a group of hoodlums led by their leader Ellis realize one of their motorcycles has a flat, so Ellis orders one goon, Tommy, to stay with the bike while Pete gets his SUV to come pick it and the bike up.
Somebody fucked up my tire.
You go get his trailer, come back and pick him up. Tommy's gonna wait for Pete. And don't you fucking drive like an animal.
Ellis and the others leave. A while later, Tommy is taking a leak when someone throws a knife right into his hand. Fuck! Then another into his leg. It's the hooded man. He knows they recently killed a man and a woman, but wants to know where the little girl who was with them is. Tommy denies knowing anything, so the hooded man severs his hand with a machete.
Where is she? I don't know!
A few days earlier, Detective Santiago heads over to an apartment building, responding to a call about a missing boy.
What? You find him?
Your son was missing when you got back from the grocery.
Yeah, just put it anywhere. Are we done?
The mother, a junkie, can't even recall calling the cops. She doesn't care about the boy, and then ends up arguing with one of her neighbors, leaving Santiago frustrated with his job.
Son missing.
It was her.
You people are animals. Oh, you're an animal. You go dry up in jail.
You did a great job today.
Hey, babe.
Where are you?
We then meet Max, a real estate lawyer, heading to lunch with his boss after closing a deal. Before heading in, he calls his wife Susan. It turns out he forgot to pick up his daughter from school and won't be able to make it to her cheerleading practice as he is working late, but promises to personally read her bedtime story when he gets home.
You forgot it was early out today.
Not always working.
I'm so sorry I forgot to pick you up today.
Okay, bye, Daddy.
Okay, bye, honey.
Meanwhile, inside the restaurant, Ellis and his group are there to interview their newest prospective member, Jerry.
You don't like shrimp?
I don't need Croatians.
I mean crustaceans, you fucking moron. You need the shrimp?
Now why don't we cut right to the chase?
The group doesn't really trust him, but Jerry swears he is just looking for a job and is willing to do whatever it takes to prove himself to Ellis. Max wraps up his call with his family and heads inside, where he recognizes someone across the room.
Jerry.
It turns out to be Jerry, his brother. Jerry blows Max off, telling him it isn't a good time to talk as he is in the middle of business. Max finally takes the hint and leaves, and Jerry lies that Max is his criminal lawyer who got him off a few cases. Ellis accepts this, but whispers something to his right-hand man Roxy before everyone leaves the table. Roxy then approaches Max, claiming to be interested in his services, and learns he is actually a real estate lawyer.
But we don't do criminal law?
That was just weird, right?
Later, Max gets a call from Jerry's phone number. He wonders what the deal was earlier, but hears no one on the line and hangs up. He calls Susan, explaining that he has to spend all night working again. He has one of his usual intense headaches, but has left his pills at home, so he promises Susan he will be home tomorrow to take his pills and spend quality time with his family. He ends the call, and his wife hears the door buzzer.
Can I come in?
It is Jerry asking to come up, but he appears at the stairs beaten and missing a few fingers before someone shoots him in the
Jerry,
head.
come up. Your Uncle Jerry's stopping by.
The next day, Max is in the middle of a presentation when Santiago arrives and breaks the shocking news.
You forgot it was early out today.
Not always working.
As Max sits in an interrogation room, Captain Daniels reveals that there were two victims, Susan and Jerry, who was actually an FBI agent, and Max's daughter is missing. Detective Vasquez believes this was a crime of passion, suspecting that Max walked in on Susan and Jerry and killed them both, but Santiago doesn't believe Max is the killer.
This guy's clean because I'm a very good judge of character.
Santiago goes in to talk with Max, going over his background, which includes a short criminal record and a tour in the Navy before a dishonorable discharge. Santiago asks him about the phone call from Jerry the night before, but Max reveals there was no one on the line. Max wants to know if they have found his daughter. Santiago explains that they are searching for her, but the possibility exists that she may already be dead. Santiago understands Max's pain as he has two sons of his own and promises to do everything he can to find her. In tears, Max wonders what Santiago would do if he learned someone had unalived his sons. In a moment of pure honesty, Santiago explains in detail how he would ensure that person meets a brutal end.
Oh, shit.
Then I would swing until my arms fell off, because they will do it again.
Until Daniel stops the interview. Daniel suggests that Max stay in lockup as his house is a crime scene, but knowing he is free to leave, Max walks out. He heads home to see the brutal scene left behind after Susan's and Jerry's murder, and falls to his knees in tears, holding a drawing his daughter made for him. Suddenly, a man appears behind Max, who fights him off until the man reveals he is Big John, a friend of Jerry's. He hands over a set of keys that Jerry instructed him to give to Max upon his death, as after Max blew his cover in the restaurant, Ellis was after him. Big John explains that Ellis is in the organ trade business and targets small humans, leaving Max worried for his daughter.
Hearts, livers, kidneys.
It's Detective Vasquez.
She's one of them.
Mr. Kelly.
Vasquez then knocks at the door. Max thinks Big John should tell her everything, but he refuses, revealing that Vasquez is dirty. He urges Max to leave, so Max escapes the building. When Vasquez enters, Big John explains that Max beat him up and escaped after he came looking for the cash. Vasquez suddenly shoots Big John multiple times, but he manages to pull a grenade, taking Vasquez with him in an explosion. With nowhere left to go, Max heads over to Jerry's place to clear his head. But there he sees some documents that catch his eye. As he checks further, he has another splitting headache, causing him to collapse and pass out. The next day, Daniel shows Santiago $50,000 in cash they recovered from Vasquez's apartment, along with a pound of illegal drugs. Daniels notes that Vasquez was his partner, and taking the hint, Santiago hands over his house keys, inviting him to search. Daniels goes on to reveal that Max's case has been turned over to the feds, showing Santiago his heavily redacted military record. As Santiago leaves, Daniels threatens to put a bullet in his head if he is dirty like Vasquez. Ellis meets with his superior, Mr. Tank, who turns out to be a woman, using a male pronoun to gain more respect, along with her hitman Kevin. Mr. Tank notes that they have had a good business relationship so far, but wants to know how he allowed an FBI agent to infiltrate his team. Ellis notes that he has been taken care of, but is still trying to recover the $50,000. Mr. Tank isn't pleased and suspects one of two things. Either his judgment is no longer reliable, or he made the entire thing up to steal the $50,000. Either way, his reputation has provided him with one chance to correct the situation, and she orders him to go do his job, calling him a cunt.
Go do your job, you old cunt.
Max wakes a while later, and next to him under a bed, he finds a sack filled with Ellis's $50,000. He then finds a file filled with missing kids, but no sign of his daughter. Determined to get answers and revenge for his family, Max begins drawing on his old training. Santiago is driving with his two sons when one of them tells him they want to return home. As it turns out, Santiago's wife has found herself a boyfriend.
I think Mom's got a new boyfriend. Jesus. How come you never bring Mom flowers?
He drops the boys off with his wife, then asks her if they could talk things over, but she has no time to chit-chat. She is ready to move on, and tells him to focus on being there for his boys. Later, Ellis and the entire gang are hanging out inside a pub. A man, Mr. Hofstein, walks by and Ellis goes to talk with him. Hofstein's son had received an organ transplant courtesy of Ellis for the price of $50,000. Ellis tells him about the missing cash and wants him to pay another $50,000, but Hofstein has already spoken to Mr. Tank, and he brazenly tells Ellis never to contact him again.
Unfortunately, the money is missing.
With all due respect, Mr. Tank, she said you might try this. What happens on your end is your problem. Don't contact me ever again.
Ellis starts crashing out over the disrespect, beating a random man to a pulp in the restroom. We are then taken back to the beginning, when the group leave the pub and realize that a motorcycle has been punctured. Ellis is later at home when Roxy and the group turn up, telling Ellis that Tommy is missing and they found a box inside Ellis's car.
Get your feet off there.
Jesus, it's just a
Inside the box, Roxy finds Tommy's severed hand. Ellis thinks it's his organization sending him a message and that they need to find the cash ASAP.
Get out of the way.
Ellis then has Roxy kill one of his own men who had been mouthing off to him all evening. Santiago, who had been investigating the missing kids' cases, finds evidence of the same kids on donor lists and shows it to Daniels, who plans to look into it further. They end up calling in Mr. Hofstein, wondering how his son received such a quick transplant after being on a very long waiting list. Hofstein lies that he had his son rushed to China to receive the organ, but Santiago shows him a surveillance image of him landing in China, already carrying an organ transport box, which he suspects was sold to him on the black market. Hofstein finally comes clean, admitting that he had no other choice.
Some dirtbag named Ellis.
Would you like an attorney before you say anything else?
I'm fine.
He tells them about Ellis, and Santiago wants to find him right away. We then see a hooded Max speeding in his car, tailing another one of Ellis's men named Kiko. Max gets ahead of him as they come to a stoplight, but when the light turns green, Max doesn't move. Kiko becomes impatient and honks his horn when Max pulls a U-turn and pulls up beside him. Kiko threatens to hurt him, but Max swiftly throws a blade into his neck. Kiko stumbles from the car. He tries pulling a gun, but Max throws a hatchet, ending him before stealing his cell phone. Ellis gets back in from emptying the trash only to find Kevin inside, holding him at gunpoint and demanding an update on the cash. Ellis isn't fond of this disrespect, worse that they have been killing his men. Kevin, however, reveals they have nothing to do with his men and tells him he has 1 week to return the money. Santiago is doing his checks on Max and finds out he was committed to a mental hospital a while back. Ellis then learns about Kiko's death, but this time he now suspects another party at play. Max is preparing his weapons when a text comes in on Kiko's cell phone from Ellis to meet at his stables. Max soon turns up, gun at the ready, and soon comes upon Ellis sitting patiently waiting for him, and when he sees Max's face he understands. Max demands his daughter. Ellis calmly explains that they gave Jerry some money, which he stole, and after torturing him, instead of leading them to the money, he led them to Susan, so they killed her thinking she was his wife.
Where's my daughter?
Max demands again to know where his daughter is, but one of Ellis's men knocks him out. He wakes bound to a chair with tape. One of Ellis's men, Junior, heats a wire and inserts it under his fingernail.
Junior, boss is not gonna like this.
Threatening to carve him up like Susan if he doesn't tell Ellis what he wants to know. Ellis barges in, furious as he didn't give the order for Max to be tortured. He painfully yanks the metal wires out, apologizing for his men's barbaric behavior. He tells Max that his daughter is fine, but he wants Max's word that he will give up his quest for revenge if he should see her again. He claims to understand Max's pain, as he lost a son, but Max can become a father again if he reveals where the cash is. He wants Max's word, and Max nods in agreement. Later, Max orders Roxy to deal with Junior for disobeying him. Junior is guarding the building when Santiago holds him at gunpoint and leads him inside, where he stumbles upon Max.
Nice Kelly.
He has Junior cut Max loose, but as he is arresting Junior, Max knocks him out before attacking Junior. Roxy and another man, Rishi, turn up to Max's hideout to search for the cash when Roxy stumbles upon some files and brings them to Ellis. Rishi finds the bag of cash.
Serious?
But as he tries to pull it free, it triggers a booby trap which explodes. Outside, Ellis looks on shocked. He returns to the hideout only to see Junior dead and Max missing. Having lost the cash, Ellis meets with Kevin and Mr. Tank and guns them down inside the restaurant. Santiago turns up to Ellis's home and plans to lay wait for him there. When Ellis returns to his apartment, he realizes his son's urn is missing. He hears a car engine outside and goes out to see Max doing donuts before emptying his son's ashes onto the street. Angry, Ellis jumps into his car to give chase, and Santiago follows them both. Max drives to an abandoned warehouse, and Ellis soon turns up there searching for him. Max ambushes him, but Santiago also turns up. Despite this, Max shoots Ellis in the arm, telling Santiago Ellis will not leave here alive. Santiago tries talking to Max, warning him to stand down and not throw his life away, and Max eventually listens and lowers his gun. Santiago puts Ellis in cuffs, but then Ellis starts to gloat to Max about sending pieces of his daughter all over the country. As for Santiago, he knows his two sons and threatens to have them join Max's daughter. Hearing this, Santiago conveniently remembers that the case belongs to the federal government and removes Ellis's cuffs.
You're on your own, bitch.
Ellis pulls a blade, but Max pulls his own, eventually stabbing Ellis in the stomach. Ellis thinks he has a chance, but Max returns with a baseball bat and beats him to death. The next day, Daniels calls Santiago to his office to show him news reports of Ellis's men winding up dead, but Santiago claims to have no clue. Later, Santiago is hanging out with his wife and the boys when he gets a text from Max, asking for an address. Soon, Max shows up at the same junkie woman's door with his baseball bat. Thanks for watching. If you had a good time, go ahead and hit that like button, drop a comment, and of course, subscribe for more recaps just like this. And hey, don't click away just yet. YouTube thinks you'll love one of these two videos popping up right here, so